This tutorial, we're going to go over kind of like a overview of Photoshop, right? This is the first kind of like getting our feet wet with the program. So I just want to have you watch this video so you can get an idea of what this program is capable of, because it's a pretty powerful program. It's web-based that we're using right now. So let's check it out and see what they have to say. We'll talk about getting logged in and in the program in a little bit, but I just want you right now to kind of watch the video to give you kind of like how the user interface works in the program. So we're going to watch this first video here. All right, here we go.
Adobe Photoshop on the web delivers core Photoshop capabilities in a reimagined web-based interface. To access the application, you don't need to download and install it. Simply point your web browser to photoshop.adobe.com. Here on the home screen, you can begin by dragging an image from your computer or start from a blank canvas. For now, I'm just going to begin with an image that I have on my local device by dragging and dropping it here. Now that we're in the application, let's take a look at some of the interface options. Here on the left, you'll notice the toolbar. Each icon indicates a tool category. When I click on that category, a second panel opens up to the right, revealing all of the tools within. I can collapse the panel to save some room by clicking on the arrows here towards the bottom. Now, when I hover over each tool category, a subset of tools opens to the right, and the tool-specific properties are here in this ribbon above. Continuing on here towards the top, I have some document level controls like the name of the document. I can rename it by clicking on the drop-down menu here to the right and then selecting Rename. This is also where I can control the overall resolution and dimensions of the image in the image size area. Here towards the upper right of the interface, I have the ability to control my zoom level. When I click in the drop-down menu, there's a number of predefined zoom levels. I can also use the scroll wheel on my mouse or pinch and zoom on a trackpad to either pinch and zoom out or spread my fingers wide to zoom back in. Holding the space bar will temporarily change whatever tool I have selected to the hand tool, which then allows me to press and drag and move the content around on the canvas. When I release the space bar, it reverts back to the previously selected tool. The panels here towards the right of the application can be toggled on or off by clicking their respective icon. The first hides or shows the Layers panel. Notice that when I opened up this image, the application automatically created my first layer. I'll go ahead and rename that layer by double-clicking on the name, assigning a new one, and then pressing Return on the keyboard. Below that, I can toggle on or off properties, and then below that, any comments I might have made or received from my collaborators. I can optimize space by keeping the Properties panel closed and then accessing any relevant properties from the Layers panel itself by clicking on the property icon for each of the individual layers. One of the exciting aspects of Photoshop on the web is the way it hides and shows powerful controls based on what it is I'm doing in my workflow. I'm going to make a few changes, and as I do so, I'll show you how the interface reacts. I'd like to remove some of the distractions in this image, like the collars and leashes on the dogs. To do so, I'll head over to the retouch area of the toolbar, and I'll click on the Remove tool. On the canvas, I see the default brush size. I can adjust that to be larger or smaller here in the Tool Properties ribbon towards the top. I should also mention that I've toggled Remove After each stroke to the off position so that I can make all my changes at one time. Once I get my brush size adjusted so that I can capture both the leash and some of the image behind it, I'll brush over all the objects I'd like to remove. And as I do so, notice the floating toolbar I have below my image, the contextual taskbar. If you don't see this in your application, you might have hidden it. To make it visible again, go to the menu, and then in the View area, make sure the contextual taskbar has been checked. And with that content still selected, I'll click the Remove button in the contextual taskbar. Next, I want to come in and remove the background and replace it with an image of my own. Once again, the contextual taskbar will help me out here. Notice that I have a few options of the next workflow step I can take. I could select subject or just directly remove the background. I'm going to go ahead and click that button and let Photoshop do its magic. There you go. With the background removed, the contextual taskbar now offers me other options like refining my mask by adding or removing from it. The next thing I want to do is add my own background image. And for that, I'll come back to the tool panel here towards the bottom to the Add Image area. I can use generative AI to generate a background. I happen to have one that I'd like to use, so I'll go ahead and click the Upload button, and I will navigate in my system for that background image, and I'll click Open. That looks pretty good. I'm going to move it into position and press and drag it just a bit more outside of the image frame. When I'm done in the contextual taskbar, I'll click the Done button. Now, I see my background, but I've lost sight of my dogs. I see here in the Layers panel that the image I imported was imported at the top of the layer stack. That's okay, I'll just come in and press and drag that new layer towards the bottom, revealing the dogs below. I'm going to move them into position a bit, so I'll come back to the toolbar. I'm going to select the Move tool, and making sure I'm on the layer with the dog, so clicking on that upper layer, I'll select them, and I'm just going to press and drag them more off to the corner. Let's make one more change, and that's to crop the image to fit my social media destination. I'll come back to the toolbar, and in that Size and Position area, I'm going to select the Crop tool. I now have the ability to come in and crop the image. I know that I want a certain dimension though, so I'm going to come here towards the right of the Properties ribbon, and in the More Options area, I can select the resize that I'd like to use based on my social media destination. Notice I've got a few here. I'm going to go with Instagram and make sure that it's a square shape. I can see the changes here on the canvas, and once again, I could drag the dogs a little bit more appropriately so they're visible to me. And as you might expect, the contextual taskbar now allows me to complete that task by clicking the Done button. Well, things are starting to look pretty good here, but we're going to need to stop. All of the changes that I've made so far are considered non-destructive. I can hide and show a layer, I can undo my changes, or refine any of them down the road if I change my mind. I can download my finished image to my computer by clicking the Download button here towards the upper right. In any case, all of the work I've done is automatically saved in Creative Cloud, and logging into my account from any computer will allow me to continue working with the file. And with that, this concludes the brief introduction to Photoshop on the web. I encourage you to give it a try.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of full screen, and we are done with the tour, so we're going to be ready to get our feet wet with the program Photoshop. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into those lessons next.